Today's online community case study will be taking a look at Skool.com's 11th ranked online community, Release Your Fs, to put it lightly. There's a reason why Release Your Fs, to put it lightly, is ranked number 11th on Skool.com, which is probably the number one fastest growing online community platform in the world right now. And we'll jump straight into it, starting with the strengths, of course. Well, first and foremost, we're going to have to start by just looking at the counterintuitive, polarizing title here. Release Your Fs. Why does it work so well? Why does it capture our attention? For context, this community is about meditation as indicated by its brief description here beneath the banner. And with that in mind, the reason why the name of this community works so well, why it's so captivating and seizes your attention, is that it is counterintuitive. It is counterintuitive because most people have this association with meditation as some kind of form of relaxation. It's attached with these ideas of Zen and Buddhism, these ideas of calm and tranquility. And here you are with a title like Release Your Fs, which is counterintuitive to that message, counterintuitive to people's perceptions of what meditation typically is, which is something that isn't in excess. And here is a title that is very much in excess. And so branding wise, this is perhaps one of the biggest driving reasons why this guy's community is up here with all of these other people at the top of Skool.com. And another reason why this community works so well and has gained so much traction so fast is that it is a funnel community. It has been opened up to as many people as possible. It is free. It is a public group. I don't even have to join to view it. I can just watch it as a lurker, as I am doing right now for this case study. A funnel community, which is what this is basically, it is a part of the creator's value ladder, meaning that typically a value ladder would be the offers that the creator is offering to his audience. So first and foremost, he may have his content distributed on a variety of social media platforms, which then he has a call to action to join this free funnel community. So there's very little friction whatsoever to join a free funnel community, just a single click or two, and you're in it. And then once you're in it, he begins to sell to his audience. And what's interesting about this community, which is founded, I believe, here by Brian Holub, who is the yogi, as he terms himself, you have right beneath the banner, right, this brief description of the goal of the community, which is very lighthearted, very simple to understand, very fun. It's not deep, it's not whimsical, it's not complicated. I think a lot of people have this perception of meditation like you have to be some kind of enlightened one to start doing it or to be a part of some kind of meditative community, some kind of meditation community, that is. But here with this description, it's simply just 90 days of meditation with Yogi Brian, win prizes, make friends, and have fun. That's very simple, very approachable. And this is what is seen public here on the discovery page. If you're looking for a community, you'll see this, and it's very approachable and very fun. And what's more important, and to the point of a funnel community, is that if you look beneath the description, you'll see all of his paid products here. So again, the idea of a funnel, people join this free funnel community, Release Your Fs. They enjoy 90 days of meditation with Yogi Brian. They win prizes, they make friends, they have fun. And if they're feeling like they have to reciprocate, if they feel like they really enjoy the space and want to give back to the community builder, to the creator, to the space, then they have a number of options to convey that respect. They could purchase some of these products here, which I'll just check out in a second. I'm not sponsored by in any way, shape, or form by this guy, but I'm just curious what we can learn as community builders, as community managers. And so here he's selling some kind of meditation to release the C word. So as you can see, there's very much his branding, his polarizing, his excessive branding in this regard is very consistent throughout his products, throughout his services. So this is simply some kind of meditation that you can buy. You can then buy his ebook here, or his book rather. So he has a few upsells, and then here he has his merchandise. Now, he used to have his paid community link here just a few days ago when I was doing the research for this case study. What I wanted to talk about his paid community and how this community serves as a funnel that leads to his paid community is that his paid community only has a handful of members in comparison to his free funnel community. But the point is that with his paid community, he makes around $30,000 a month if you run the math, and that excludes all of his other merchandise, his books, or his courses on meditation. So if you exclude all of his other products and just consider his paid community, which again used to be linked here, I'm not sure where it is at this point, but he's making $30,000 a month from it. So from this community, he's upselling people to his paid community, which again makes him $30,000 a month. So basically, not giving any Fs makes this guy $30,000 a month. Well, opening your community to the public and making it free is definitely a powerful strategy in order to onboard plenty of members and expose them to all of your products, as Brian has done here. There's a downside, however, to free public communities, because at the end of the day, people pay for what they pay for, and if they're not paying anything, you're likely going to have a significant percentage of members who become disinterested, which is just natural. You're going to have the possibility of trolls coming in, people who want to sell to your audience, salespeople. Moderation wise, it can get very complicated if you have a free public group that is exposed to the world, effectively to a gigantic audience, bigger than your own audience, that is. And as far as branding is concerned, which I've touched on a little earlier, everything is straight and to the point and simple, which I really enjoy about the space. And I think that's something that we can take away from this. Again, I mentioned the description beneath the banner, very simple, very approachable. It makes the subject of meditation seem a lot more easier and fun, right? Which typically people don't have that notion of when they're going into meditation. They think it's complicated and difficult. And so if we go to his about page for the community, the same can be said about his description. It's very, very simple. He has this brief video explaining what his community does, and then he has a very simple description here. So welcome to the free Release Your F's community. So notice that, free. Our community has everything you need to begin your meditation practice and release your F's. And look at that. So saying F is applauded very much on branding, with this whole idea of having fun and being excessive and things like that. Simple and fun to use, works on iOS and Android apps, includes 90 meditations and the meditation crash course. And then here is a quote from the video, a very simple backstory here. He doesn't get complicated. I think this is bridging some kind of relatability with his audience, with people, with prospective members, that is. So very intelligent on his part to keep this very concise and to the point, and to have fun with it. I think that's something else we could take away from this community, is just have fun with it. You don't have to be super serious Mr. Marketer man when it comes to your branding. Just have fun. Obviously be, principled with your strategy, but have some fun while you're doing it too, if you can. The next thing that we'll be looking at is that there are incentives to actually participating in this community. And we'll go and check out the leaderboards here. So in this community, you can see that in Skool.com, leaderboards are measured by weekly, by monthly, and of all time, and people rack up points. And how people rack up points is that they make posts, and if people enjoy the posts, say for example Jill here, people will like it, and so she gets 38 likes, which convert to 38 points, and that levels her up. So right now she's at level 7. And what leveling up is going to do is that you'll go obviously from level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so forth, and you'll gain access to special courses. And so what happens is that the more you level up, the more that you'll gain access to special courses, which are gate kept by level caps. So here you have this course, which unlocks at level 3, which includes super secret meditations. Now, I'm not level 3, I'm not in this community, so I couldn't tell you what that entails, but I think the title gives you some kind of idea of what to expect. And the same goes for level 4, except here there's, at least on the outside, I have no idea what level 4 does. Just as level 4 unlock. But the idea is that he is incentivizing his community to participate, to make posts, to engage in discussions, to bring thoughtful pieces of value to this community so that they can get rewarded, which allows them to unlock these special courses. Again, with this whole idea of having simple and to the point branding, his onboarding is no different. As you can see, there is a pinned comment here, a pinned forum post, that is. So welcome to the Release Your F's community. Start here. Very simple. And if you click it, it's kind of like a cohort-based community. So there are monthly meditation challenges that start at the first of every single month. And boom, look how simple this is. Prepare by watching the instructions, which is hyperlinked, Then number 2, watching the 90-day challenge, which again is hyperlinked, and then inviting friends. So it's very, very simple and to the point. 1, 2, 3, 3 rules, or 3 onboarding instructions, very simple to use. Then you have the rules, which are just 2, be nice and have fun. See, so this idea of having fun, as mentioned earlier, and being nice, that's very, very simple and to the point. Look how short these onboarding instructions are, which is very admirable and would be amazing if you can replicate this level of onboarding simplicity in your community. Again, to the point of the simplicity, you'll see that there are just a handful of categories. So intros, so that people can introduce themselves and people can get to know new members better. The wins, meditations, discussion, and meetups. Very simple. Another cool feature of this community that I noticed is the relationship between the wins category and the meditations category. So obviously this community is about meditation. It's about practicing meditation, getting better at it, becoming more mindful, what have you. So you have meditations here in the meditations category where people will discuss all things meditation. But once you meditate and let's say you have a successful meditation, or you learn something from your meditation, you glean some kind of wisdom, or you have some kind of piece of meditation advice, or you've just overall succeeded at some kind of form of meditation, then that becomes a win. And when you win, that incentivizes you to write something about it, which then incentivizes you to meditate again. And then you have a successful meditation experience, and then you write it in the wins. And so there's this positive feedback loop that's created between these two categories, which is a very powerful symbiotic effect between these two categories. And it incentivizes people to create more posts, which is a very powerful notion to consider. So in your community, if you can have 2 or more categories that work in synergy together, that is a powerful effect and a very powerful feature to leverage in your community. Now, what can Release Your Fs improve upon as a community? Now, nothing is perfect, obviously, so there must be some things that it can improve upon. And I think that's a very appropriate point to make in light of a meditation community where there are always improvements to make upon in one's meditation practice. But regardless, one of the things that I noticed that perhaps this community could improve upon, very simple fix as well, is the banner image. So when people are, let's say, publicly trying to discover a community, in the Discover Communities section here of Skool.com, you'll notice everyone has their banners. And this one is very much not so attracting, not as attracting as the title. And it's not because of how it's done graphically. It's done very well graphically. I suppose you could say it's a little dark, but the point is that it doesn't show a transformation. And I'll show you 2 communities that do show a transformation on their banner. So it's right off the bat, an image speaks 1,000 words, and you get to know as a prospective member what to expect going in and what to expect the transformation to be if you stick with this community for some kind of period of time. So what I mean by that is, for example, here, the THP Jump Training Program. So I went from this literally to this. So that's the transformation here. This guy's struggling to dunk. He's struggling to reach the basketball basket here. And over here, you can see this guy's like pretty much flying like Superman. So this is the transformation that you can expect to experience if you stick with this community for some kind of period of time. And the same goes for this community here, which is a self-improvement community. And as you can see here, Hamza, which is this guy over here, which is the guy here in general. So he's gone from looking like this to this. And that's the transformation that you can expect to experience if you stick with this community for some kind of period of time. But if you go to Release Your Fs, there is no such transformation. Now, it's not as if his community doesn't work without a banner that conveys a transformation. But in terms of onboarding new members, in terms of getting new eyes onto your community, it very much helps to have a very intuitive and understandable visual representation of what's going on. Because of course, people can always read the title or the name of your community, and they could always read the description, but an image, again, a picture speaks 1,000 words. And so if they can get the point of your community in literally just 1 second by looking at an image and seeing what the transformation that's offered within it is, that is a very powerful thing to have in your arsenal. And you'll likely onboard a bunch of new people as a result of that. So that's one thing that you can do. So for example, on the left-hand side, he can perhaps have someone who looks lost or busy or overwhelmed or something to that effect, someone who's giving too much of an F. And then on the right-hand side, you can have someone who's peaceful and tranquil and releasing their Fs, to put it in Yogi Brian's terms.